Hello, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be doing part 4 of our resume review series where I review 4 of your resumes every single video. If you're interested in doing more in-depth and private resume reviews, I offer the same service on my Patreon, so go check it out at patreon.com/AngelaSunX3. Let's jump straight into the video. So let's start off with our first resume for today. This person is a student who is graduating class of 2022. I really like how each of these bullets here start off with an action verb, and this person is also including numbers to the extent that they can. One thing that I would do to your experience section is to really add a few more bullets. I'd say especially if this experience is relevant to the job that you're applying for, you want at least 3 to 4 bullets for this experience. You don't want it to just be 2 bullets and for them to be short bullets at that, because it shows that you don't really have much experience in it, when in fact, I'm sure you do. In addition to that, for your leadership section, it's great that you have so many extracurriculars and leadership opportunities that you were a part of. And I'd say in general, most people only have 3 or so that they really expand on in their leadership experience section. So I would say that look at these 5 and see if you can perhaps delete one of them. Usually the ones that you would keep are ones that are recent, the ones that are relevant, and the ones that you had the highest involvement in. I would then try to expand on it and do 3 to 4 bullets for at least the ones that you find most relevant and that are most recent. I really like this awards and achievements section on your resume. It's something that not a ton of people have, so that's spectacular that you have all of these. It really makes someone seem much more well-rounded and much more capable, and really invites a lot of questions during the interview, so I would just be prepared to answer any questions on these awards and achievements that you have because they're interesting. Now, as for your skills and interests section, for your interests, I noticed that you included things like capital markets, learning and development, audiobooks, road cycling, long walks. I think that those are very diverse. Capital markets and learning and development are more educational, professional type interests, and long walks and cycling are really more on the athletic side. If there are any other interests that you want to include that perhaps show a more creative element as well, you should feel free to just include it, because the more interests that you have, the higher the probability that you will have something in common with you. For example, one thing that I used to have on my resume was creative writing. Growing up, I love to write short stories and poetry, and so that's something that's always really interested in me and something that I like to do on my free time. And this is a perfect segue to talk about today's sponsor for the video, Skillshare. Skillshare is an online learning community with thousands of inspiring classes for creators. You can explore new skills, deepen existing passions, and really get lost in your own creativity. So back to one of my interests that I had on my resume, it was creative writing. And therefore, one class that I've really been liking from Skillshare is called Creative Writing, Crafting Personal Essays with Impact, taught by Roxanne Gay, which talks about how you can transform your story into a really, really powerful personal essay. For someone who might be thinking about applying for undergraduate or an MBA program or grad school, you will need a personal essay, and personal essays oftentimes make a huge impact on any application. This class is the perfect one for that. It's packed with super practical tips and example essays as well. The first 1,000 subscribers to click the link down in my description box below will get a free trial to their premium membership, which gives you free access to all of their classes. Now let's get back and talk about the next resume. Okay, so this person is someone who will be graduating from college in 2024. For your bullets, ideally you would want to be a little bit more specific, especially if you are planning to go into investment banking, which it does look like this resume is geared towards. When you say upcoming merger and acquisition deal, you want to talk about what industry it might be in and be a little bit more specific about the size, the target, and the acquirer. I know a lot of this isn't public information, but there's a way you can write it to be general. Rather than writing virtual internship, you can still include the headquarters of where this company is. Very small nit here, but in skills and interest is missing an E between the T and the R. Little things like that. You just want to make sure that you proofread your resume several times to just get rid of small typos like that, because even small things sometimes can be a reason for a recruiter to just toss your resume to the side because there are so many resumes out there. In addition to that, in your skills section, you wrote analytical thinking, resilience, management, and leadership. Those skills are really things that are a little bit more fluffy and less technical in my experience. These are more soft skills and skills that a lot of people can really attribute to themselves and things that you really have to show people rather than tell them. Instead, include hard skills such as Microsoft Office, like Excel, PowerPoint, Microsoft Word. Include any languages that you might know that would be helpful or useful to the job you're applying for, or any programming languages that you've learned. You want to include the skills that are really tangible rather than soft skills in your skills section. So for this next resume, the first thing I'm noticing is that the name is in pretty small font. Ideally, you want your font size to be around 20 to 22 for your name on your resume. You want it to be eye-catching for the recruiter or whoever is reviewing your resume so that they remember you. Additionally, I would probably get rid of this entire paragraph up here. It is just a huge block of text. You want your resume to be able to show people what you're capable of, rather than telling them these soft skills that in general basically fit with probably any other candidate that's applying for the job. Same thing with each of the descriptions. For the professional experience, I wouldn't include these blocks of text up there. I would just limit it to the bullet points. This is going to end up saving you a lot more space. And beyond that, I see that this person actually has a page and a half to their resume, so it is a perfect opportunity to move this whole section up to the next page. Also, for the skills here, it's great that there are so many skills that this person is able to include on their resume, but I would try to limit it to just one line worth of skills. Try to see what job that you're applying for and see which skills are the most relevant to that job, because when things are a block of text, it makes it easy for whoever's reading it to just want to skip it over. Okay, now for this next and last resume, just off the bat, this resume is very long. It's a full 2.5 pages, and upon first glance, I can already tell that there's a lot of ways this can be cut down. Let's look into exactly how we can do so. So first of all, I would remove personal identifiers like your gender or your age within your resume. Those aren't necessary, and you don't want those to be things that will eventually work against you during an interview or during the candidate selection process. Now, rather than calling this section internship, I would call it professional experience. It just makes someone sound like they've had a lot more experience and they're a lot more mature in the field, rather than just calling them all internships, because people know that they're internships, but it is still professional experience. In addition to that, I would also exclude any words like my or I've. Those are all extraneous words, and you want every single bullet of your resume to start with an action verb, just as you did here, like worked, or you want to start this one off with approach. You want to be able to restructure each of these bullets in order for you to tell what you did. For certifications, there's absolutely no need to have such a long part of your resume be focused on it. I would just include all of these certifications under a skills section, rather than going in depth about how you got each of these certificates. For any one activity, I wouldn't expand on it so much where it's several bullets. The most I would write for any curricular activity, unless it's something that you are strongly involved in and heavily involved in to this day, I would maybe include about 3 to 4 bullets for one activity, so that you're able to save real estate on your resume. Same thing with participations. There's no need to list all of them out. If you want to, you can include it in a section at the end of your resume called Interests and Skills, and include all those certifications and all of the things that you've participated in. And lastly, for your personal details, I would definitely include that at the top of your resume instead. Overall, I think that this resume includes a ton of useful information, and it has basically everything that you need on the resume on there. but it just really needs to be cut down to about half of its size so that it can all fit onto one page. And so guys, that marks the end of this video. Thank you so much to everyone who has sent their resumes in for me to review. Please remember to hit the like button if you enjoyed it. It helps me a ton. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!